How many times have you tried the latest popular self-care trend with so much hope for success, only to find out after the fact that it actually doesn't work? How frustrating and defeating is that? So many people and organizations find themselves in this situation over and over again. If this sounds familiar, I have fantastic news for you. In this video, I'll share the number one reason why this happens to a majority of self-care practitioners and reveal number one self-care success secret for you and your team. Not only that, if you watch to the end, I'll introduce you to an incredible free self-care resource to actually make all of your self-care efforts successful every time. Sounds good? Let's begin. The number one reason that crushes people's self-care efforts is not a lack of time, money, or knowledge. That self-care is an essential component of any thriving and meaningful life. No, the number one reason is an absolute lack of personalization of your self-care plan. Let me explain. Let's say your best friend absolutely loves meditation, swears by it, and it's her daily powerhouse of the self-care practice. You, on the other hand, feel incredibly awkward just sitting there with your mind racing, doing your weekly budget in your head, composing that work email, and getting really annoyed at your kids screaming in the background. In short, you are dreading the whole experience, obviously not meditating, and feeling a bit like a failure about the whole thing. How likely are you to continue this practice? And how likely are you to say and feel that self-care helped you create the life you love? Not very likely, I can tell you that much. The moral of the story is that we are not our best friend. And maybe meditation is not the most helpful, results-driven, impactful thing for us to do right now. By the way, on a side note, the negative experience I describe with meditation practice is a true story of how I personally felt about meditation. Only after learning about different types of meditation, what works for me personally, and tricks on how to do it in an effective way through a meditation teacher, was I able to see incredible results from this practice in my life. And now it's a powerhouse of a self-care activity in my life today. But shooting in the dark with it and doing what everybody else was doing without figuring out what I need with someone who could guide me was a self-sabotaging experience for me. In other words, jumping into self-care practice because other people are doing it or because it's trending on social media is kind of like buying herbal supplements that happen to be popular on Instagram, all before consulting a doctor, getting blood work done, and determining what your body actually needs. In a good case scenario, you simply won't see results, so you'll stop taking the stuff. In a worst case scenario, you will get sick and require additional intervention from a specialist. Either way, you didn't get the results you wanted and you're left feeling discouraged and less likely to try again. So what do? Number one secret for self-care success is self-care plan personalization. How do we do this? I'm glad you asked. We need to start with honest and thorough assessment of our lives, our current needs, pains and desires, our vision for where we are and where we want to be. The reason being that every single person on the face of this planet has different preferences, pains, priorities, goals, needs, and dreams, which means that every single person requires an individualized approach to self-care, specifically created to address the most important aspects of their lives that really need addressing. I cannot tell you how many times both individuals and agencies start implementing certain self-care activities just because they see these activities working in someone else's life or someone else's agency, and not because they found out through an assessment process that these specific activities are exactly what they need in this particular moment of their lives. 100% of the time, this approach results in discouragement and in abandoning of the self-care routines. Over time, I always fail at it. It's too expensive. I don't have time. We instituted self-care practice in our agency, but our employees never took advantage of it, so we canceled the program. And on and on. Assessment is the cornerstone of any effective and sustainable self-care practice. It saves us time, money, and keeps us motivated, hungry for more, and provides a sense of accomplishment because we actually are seeing results in the areas that are important to us. It works because in the process of assessment, we get to identify our top priorities, make a short list of self-care strategies we enjoy and that work for us, and actually get to work on what needs to be improved. So we have our why, and thus we are so much more motivated and likely to succeed in the long run. The trick, of course, is doing this inventory and finding out which areas of our lives is in the most need of self-care right now, and what specific self-care activities could provide the most needed relief. This is why in 2013, I created the Self-Care Wheel, a comprehensive 6-dimensional well-being tool featuring 88 different self-care activities to help you find the self-care strategy that you currently need. The Self-Care Wheel has been so popular with self-care practitioners that it's been currently rated a #1 self-care tool in the world. I hope you take some time today and check out this tool and see if it could be as helpful for you as it has been for hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. So let me tell you exactly how Self-Care Wheel helps you to conduct this much needed assessment to make sure your self-care plan is personalized and successful. The Self-Care Wheel comes with 2 of its trusted companions, the Self-Care Wheel Assessment and the Create Your Own Self-Care Wheel tools. Together, they provide a wealth of new self-care ideas to choose from and open up an engaging space for evaluation and reflection. While the Self-Care Wheel provides a wide array of new self-care ideas, the Self-Care Wheel Assessment tool helps us to take stock and make more educated and intentional choices about what our self-care plan and routine should really look like. It starts the process by looking at 6 major dimensions of our lives: physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, personal, and professional, to give us an opportunity to see where we're doing well and which areas of our lives require the most attention. This provides us with an amazing opportunity to focus on what's important. It saves us tremendous amount of time and effort and keeps us motivated to make much needed changes. The direct result of our assessment process is total clarity about which areas of our lives require immediate attention. And with this knowledge, we can choose 1 to 3 self-care activities from the Self-Care Wheel for you to try. Since the self-care plan created as a result of this process is personalized and specifically customized to you, it increases chances that your self-care plan will be very successful. So you can download the Self-Care Wheel tools in the description below for your personal use. Well, there you have it. So far in this video, I covered the #1 self-care plan secret for you and your team and introduced you to the Self-Care Wheel tools. If you want to learn more about 3 major self-care myths that keep us stuck and small changes that we can make to create a sustainable, results-rich self-care practice that will inevitably lead you to peaceful, balanced, healthy, and meaningful life, make sure to watch this next video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.